Hi there, I'm Aly Elliott.
Hi, I'm Aly Elliott. Welcome to my channel. We're continuing the Hiraeth series. Today with Theo, we're actually getting really close to wrapping this up. These are the stories behind the Bereaved Siblings Project, a digital painting exhibition that opened in August of 2020 at the Monroe Convention Center. That was its initial exhibition. And I will have one more video. I misnumbered these videos. I think they were something out of 20. And I didn't start numbering them with the first one. So I misnumbered them a little bit. So there will not be two more. But after Theo's video, there will be one more because I've got a little bit of news on that front as far as the future of the project and the finale of the project. But there is some life left in the Hiraeth project, and it's going into a different genre, a different medium. And I'm excited because it's going to pertain to a few of the families there and pertain to my work on the project and on the stories. So I will give you a little bit more information with that last video. And for now, we will talk about sweet Theo. I met his amazing mother. You're never gonna guess. If you've seen any of these videos before, you'll never guess. It was through the Miss Foundation, Mothers in Sympathy and Support. And Theo's mom is one of the most kind, peaceful, she just encompasses peace, and helpful women that I've met, and she has helped countless women through their grief, and hopefully a few have been there for her along the way too. So she was part of that group of families that I was able to meet in the last 6 months. The timing was really lucky because that was just before the pandemic kind of shut everything down, and we were able to get these last 5 or 6 images shot before the world closed for a little bit. And this was one of them. This was, my family made a trip out east, and we photographed this on green screen, my trusty green screen that went all over the country and was a huge part of Hiraeth. And this was shot in a hotel gym. It was a beautiful hotel, and they were very kind. And I will say that through this entire project, there were so many locations and spaces and hotels and convention centers and all kinds of things that were so kind to let us use their space for a really quick photo shoot that they couldn't really tell what was going to be. Nobody could tell until August of 2020 when they all opened up together. So a lot of times, especially when I'm shooting on green screen, I take a lot of different angles because sometimes you don't know what you're going to want when you sit down in front of the entire composition as a whole. So I took a little of this and a little of that, and I knew that within this project I wanted to represent all parts of our life. I wanted to represent those little quiet moments where it's just us, and I wanted to represent the big grandstand moments, including holidays. And holidays for bereaved families are particularly hard. You know, I'm writing a book right now, and I was likening grief to glitter in a classroom. It's just always going to be there, and sometimes it just pops up when you don't expect it and when you're not considering it, and there it is. And sometimes you're overwhelmed by it, and sometimes you just dust it off and move on, and sometimes you just accept it and go about your day. And all of those intricacies were considered for Hiraeth. I wanted every corner touched. I wanted every pixel intentional. And I knew I wanted a Christmas image because we're never forgetting that we lost our children, and it is very much amplified at the holidays, and we wonder what they'd be asking for, what their stocking hanging there would look like. We have a stocking for Keely, but you know, everybody handles it differently. So I wanted a Christmas image, and Theo's family created Theo's stocking, which is foundation for Christmas time. And I thought that was the perfect match. And I remembered this image that actually made it into the final image of Theo at Christmas with Santa, and had that for the mantle. The fireplace is a fireplace from a hotel in the town that I live in, and I shoot in there pretty often. It's a relatively locally famous place because it's beautiful. And they graciously allowed me to photograph their fireplace for use in there. And I wanted it rich and opulent and magical and cozy and all those things that we think of Christmas being. The wallpaper I pulled for this image was actually from my Santa experience in my own studio. I have a separate space that we built into a Santa cabin. And so I thought that made sense to use that deep, rich red with an intricate pattern for this image. The trees are a couple of different trees that I pieced together from the Santa set because while I shot this initial image right before everything shut down, I shot it in November, and we were on a trip. And then came the holidays, and then came another trip, and I didn't get Christmas pictures taken for this image during Christmas, when it would have been a little bit easier. But luckily, I do have the little Santa cabin, and it came in handy for this because I had the opportunity to go back and reshoot. And they brought Theo's actual stocking. I was so pleased. And it just went together, and his sister looking like a little elf and so sweet, and she was a wonderful little model. So this is one of the images that was pieced together from almost nothing was shot together. In fact, not much in this image was shot. She was actually holding the stocking, and that was about it. Most of it was pieced together in a composite, which I love doing. And the globe where they're reflected is not necessarily true to life. That's not how a reflection works. I studied trying to make it perfect. And this is where I could match reality with how the globe folds and where they would fall on it, and being able to see everything that we wanted to see. And with most of the Hiraeth images, it's not just a picture of kids. It's a glimpse. It's like using our peripheral vision, the way you almost count that extra kid in there every time. I just wanted something that we could share. And it almost leaves you wanting more, wanting to be able to see more of their faces and of their stature and of their mannerisms. So, you know, it's a bittersweet feeling. And this was one of them that was definitely, I wanted to offer more of what he looked like. And it just kept working out the way it kept working out. So, this came together in Photoshop, more or less. And the stocking is the real Easter egg. It's not hidden from sight, but the fact that it's actually his is pretty special. Dragonflies, if you look in the tree, his dragonflies are tucked into the tree's ornaments. And that's something that you probably wouldn't notice without seeing it. I'm going to read now Theo's story in the words of his mom. On August 20th, 2005, after multiple seizures, Theo was diagnosed with a brain tumor. We learned that this tumor was I'm going to mess that up. I'm sorry. Choroid plexus carcinoma, which occurs in about 1 in 275 million children. He was 3 months old. The tumor was about the size of a lemon in his little 3-month-old brain. The surgeons did all they could. We began chemo a week later, and a week after that, another scan revealed that his entire cerebral cortex was damaged. Total neurological devastation. After that news, and with a very grim prognosis of the cancer itself, very rare, very aggressive, and always deadly, we brought him home to make him as comfortable as possible. We did not want to put him through any more surgery or chemotherapy. We had pediatric hospice care from September through his death in February of 2006. We had so much love and support, even though every day was excruciatingly difficult. Living without him now for 14 years, every day is still difficult. We feel so very grateful that we were able to know him and to have had time with him that we had. His death, though painful and devastating, was peaceful and sacred. He was a very special soul who gave so much love and truly touched so many lives, more than we will ever know. In his short time with us, Theo touched untold numbers of people. In knowing him, his family and friends experienced love and compassion that will resonate throughout our lives. We will love and miss him every day of our lives. And Theo's mom put it beautifully. And one of the things that I always say when people find out and they give you that look of pity is, we were lucky to have had her at all for our Keely, and they were lucky to have had Theo. And he truly has touched so many lives, continues to, through his family, through his foundation. And hopefully we are continuing Theo's story and everybody else's story through Hiraeth. And we are moving on to the very last video. The next video will be the final update for Hiraeth, more or less. I'll always come back and visit. I certainly will never forget this project. It was the biggest exhibition of my life. And every single one of these families has a special place in my heart. I want to thank Theo's family for being a part of this, for meeting me. Just getting to hug you in person was so, each of you that I got to hug and meet and see face to face and look each other in the eyes was so incredible, because the majority of these women have held me up and supported me through my grief, through the Mess Foundation and in other ways of meeting. And our babies brought us together, and for that I'm very grateful. And I look forward to the next update, the final Hiraeth update, with a couple of bits of info for the families. And I want to thank you guys for following along, whether you're a Hiraeth family member, loved one, friend, or you're just following along on the channel. I really appreciate it, and I know the families do. And we will continue saying their names and continue their stories every chance we get. So please, subscribe here on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, and we will keep the stories coming. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
That's why I do my mommy. Please.